Hello everyone and welcome to Longer and Harder, the show on the internet where we take a subject and we go deeper. This is gonna be a weird show. We're kind of at a weird day. I didn't plan on really doing a show today, but we're gonna do it anyway. Oh, and Hobbs is here to join us, so we'll get a chance to hang out with him. Hopefully levels and things. I'm a mess. Everything's a mess because why not, right? Because why not? The show wouldn't be its show without it always constantly being an absolute mess. The audio is awful. The audio might be awful. Let me check a couple things. Hi, buddy. Oh my goodness. You are clipping. Yeah, I might be. So, I'm moving, which is already going to be like the first thing. I'm moving, and so things are just kind of a thing. I added like 2 filters to this thing. Let's turn this one off. How about that? How about we remove this one and see if that at least stops the clipping, because somebody was like, hey, we need a thing, a sound mic compressor. So I added that, and I added a noise something. I don't know audio stuff. So hopefully it's better. I also have I don't have my thing. I don't have my pop filter. It fell off, and I might hear some popping, and I'm sorry. I lost my pop. Oh, I didn't lose it. It fell off. So you know, everything's just direct today. So you know, this is just what we're gonna do with. At least you won't need to rent a truck to move. It's true, I won't. So yeah, I'm moving. I didn't know I was moving last weekend, which is why I didn't announce that we weren't going to have a show today, and I felt really bad. So we're going to have a show. It's going to be kind of half-assed because I'm moving this weekend. I'm moving across the hall, so it's not like a big deal, but it's a big apartment, and I still have to haul my shit over there. So once I'm done with the show, hopefully, if you watched today's video, which you hopefully did, it's fun. Hobbs gets to explore a new place, you know, why not? You'll see that there's no doorknobs in the next apartment, so I don't actually know how early. I mean, one of the maintenance guys is gonna come in and give me a doorknob to put in there, or put it in himself. So after the show, I'm gonna start hauling all of this garbage back there. But because I just wasn't planning any of this. Everything's just a mess. And so audio's a mess. Things are a mess. It's fine. You don't need doorknobs. I don't need doorknobs. Who needs doorknobs? They're useless anyway. So yeah, so there's that. Here, I'm gonna stop talking so you guys can see Hobbs, because he is here. And I know that this is not the usual time, so I might not have the usual people hanging around today. But you know, there's Hobbs. We can have Hobbs. How can you both be low and be clipping? How does that work? I don't know how anything works. I don't know why I'm clipping. Anyone else has to tell me if I'm clipping or not. I can turn off the compressor as well, but I don't. I did kind of listen to my video the stream from last week, and I did sound awful then too. So I don't know. I gotta mess around with the settings more. And just it's you know, new computer, everything's a mess. It's fine. So yeah, with that said, let's see, what can we do? Hi buddy. Yes, I love you too, you handsome boy. You're such a handsome boy. With that said, housekeeping, I'm moving, that's a thing. Along with housekeeping, I suppose, if you're new here or you watch this now and you're like, hey, what is this going on? Welcome. I got like a bunch of new people showing up to my channel. Hi, this is Hobbs. I'm Rhetoric&Discourse. So I know Signman Dan sent you over, so that's cool. Thank you, Signman Dan. That was awesome. Little shout out you did in your video. I am almost finished with the script for the next Eric Dubay video, which I think is going to cover up to 121 or 122, something like that. And the video after that is actually going to be a very special video done by a very special green blob. So yeah, maybe talk to Luke. He's a DJ and he probably knows audio stuff. It's true, Luke. Let's get together this weekend and help me out figure out sound stuff. Micro says that I'm clipping. I don't know how to fix things. I need help. So if you get a chance, my friend, help me out. Well, it's supposed to have for cat, one giant cat for feline kind. Yes, we're moving on. Moving on to a new place, which also means, I don't know, leave a comment. I'll probably put a post on the YouTubes as well. but it means that I get my own room. I get a den. I don't know, a den, a man cave, a cat den or something, which is just gonna get converted into a studio of sorts where I get to do all the recording and whatnots. And you know, shows. So the background's gonna change. I'm not gonna be like in the living room by the kitchen anymore. It'll be in its own space. And every good studio has a name, which means we need a name. So if you have name suggestions, tweet them out, chat them out, do the things in the comment section. Let me know what you think. So far, my favorite one is Luigi, who isn't here, unfortunately, who recommended the Echo Chamber, which I think is going to be good. Oh, the cat lair. I do like the cat lair. Cat lair's pretty good. Cat cave. Cat cave might be pretty good. So we got a whole bunch of things. So yeah, if you have any ideas, send them out. We'll see which one. I don't know. I'll pick one I know the best. I know something about audio stuff. You'd use the Mac once or twice. All right. Someone call him the Cat Man. So if you want to throw in your idea, go for it. We'll come up with something, and then I don't know. That'll be the name of the studio we'll have there. All right, so with that said, that's about it for housekeeping. Thank you very much for, I guess, just usual plug myself and stuff and things. As you can see, oh, can I do that? Yeah, as you can see by our experience bar, we're at $2.25 towards a waifu pillow. Not really, but Dora Kun decided that was the thing that we should go towards. We're not actually gonna buy it. We're not actually gonna buy a waifu pillow, but we are going to buy a softbox, which would be help with lighting and stuff. So that's that. So any super chats and whatnots go straight into helping buy the new waifu pillow for the cat cave, the Pride Rock. I do like Pride Rock. That's a good one too. So with that said, yeah, if you like to do super chats, you get some free boobs. You get to help out, improve the videos and whatnot, and just help make everything better. Okay, so with that, I think that's it for housekeeping. Thank you, Simon Dan. There really is no beer of the week. There is a beer. It's not a beer of the week. I did grab a new Glarus Spotted Cow. Depending on the video that we pick, if it's stupid enough, we'll use it. We'll drink it. If it's just not worth the stupid, we won't drink it. So it'll you know, we'll decide when the beer gets open. You know that we hit stupid territory. That's how we'll know. So not just a waifu pillow of Mrs. R&D. I don't know how she'll feel about that. That'll be great. I'll have to ask her. Blue Moon? No, this is not a Blue Moon. This is a Spotted Cow from New Glarus. I did do it. I could potentially actually put it up if you really want to know, because I know there's some people that are new. Welcome to. Actually, I don't remember what week it was. I take it back. I can't put it on. But this is a Spotted Cow from New Glarus Brewing Company. It's a company that exclusively sells their beer in Wisconsin. So if you're in Wisconsin, you already know what beer this is. I don't have to explain it to you. If you're not in Wisconsin, you can't buy it anyway, so you know. I don't know what to tell you. I brought back, as you can see, behind Hobbs here, I brought back a few cases of this stuff when I last went to Wisconsin, because I love it. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite beers, especially in the summer. It's got good flavor. It's not the most alcoholic thing in the world, but it's got good basic flavor for what it is. And I don't get to have it very often because I have to travel all the way to Wisconsin to have some of it. So there's that. That's we'll pop open if we get there. Video menu for today, we have ourselves the following options. Oh, and no more Hobbs. Hobbs is tired of my shit and is just gonna leave. All right, so you get stuck with this ugly mug. Okay, so options for today, we have The Truman Show by ODD TV, AOC by David Icke, Alpha Males by Joe Rogan, How to Write a Myth by Owen Benjamin, Transgender Athletes by Sir Skeptic. Here I am, fucking picking fights with other skeptics, because I can. Liars on Wires by John Thor. That's a like Apollo 11 was garbage, or not Apollo. Like the ISS is fake, one of those. And then The Problem with the Globe from that guy. Who that guy is, nobody knows. I don't know who that guy is, but there we go. If you'd like to vote on any of the following videos options that we will talk about and chat about, whatever. Watch, talk about, we'll do all the things. Do an upside down eye, vote, and then the number next to it, and that'll allow you to vote. You can do that right in the chat. You don't have to go to any link or anywhere, and we can pick one of these lovely videos. I might have to say the top 3 keep rotating in and out quite a bit. So those we went through 3 videos last week, which was fairly impressive of us. We really did a pretty good job at going through that one. The John Thor one, which looks like is the one that people want to watch, the Liars on Wires. That one was actually on the Bloody Truth's YouTube channel, because the Bloody Truth is unoriginal as hell, so all he does is like mirror other people's videos. So I found it there, but it's actually by a guy named John Thor, but I couldn't actually find it on his channel, so I don't know. I don't know what it is. He's got some other crazy like NASA conspiracy theories, flat Earth stuff on his channel, so it's worth checking out for that stuff if you'd like. I also tried to grab a video by Orphan Red. She's got one on quantum physics, but I honestly I did the thing where I tried to watch like the first 30 seconds and it was just so bad. Like those first 30 seconds were so bad that I didn't think I wanted to go through the whole the rest of the whole video. Joseph seems to be kind of quiet as of late and isn't really making a whole lot of content. Neither is Nicole Cote, which is really sad. I like Nicole Cote. Nicole Cote, I know that I'm a critic of yours, but it's keep making videos, guys. I'm finding it difficult, and maybe because I don't spend enough time in the wrong parts of the internet. But I'm finding it incredibly difficult to actually find like new videos to watch. A lot of flat earthers are now just doing live streams all the time because it's really easy. I don't know why anyone would do something that simple and not make real videos anymore. But that seems to be the trend. So unless you want to like sit through like 2 hours of garbage, it's really not like just not. I can't do it. Nicole appears sincere. I do think people like Nicole. I do think she's actually a true believer of the cause of flat Earth. I do think she's a real flat earther. Unlike a lot of them, the flat Earth assholes of the world are less. I have my doubts that flat Earth assholes is really not that he's a flat earther, or maybe he's still a flat earther anymore. Flat earther anymore, but he was very much so into the money. Jaronism was very much so into money. Eric Dewey is very much so into the money. He's also an anti-Semitic asshole, so that might also be his driving force. Hello, Brian. It is too early in the morning. I do have beer. I don't know if I'll break into it. It really depends on the stupid level. But we'll sit there. We sit there 2 hours of garbage with you. Yay! Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'll have to pull a live streamer down or two. But a lot of them have been that. Marty Leeds is doing live streams a lot more too. Which, again, I miss talking about Marty Leeds. I haven't made a Marty Leeds video in a while, and it makes me sad. I miss you, Marty Leeds. Please pay attention to me, Marty. I miss you. So yeah, voting is still open for about another minute or so. So if you'd like to vote, upside down eye, vote, and then the number, and then you get to vote for whatever you'd like to watch. So far, it appears, David Icke and AOC are pulling ahead right now, real quick. So we might get to talk about David Icke. The number 4 has been on there for a while, Brian. That Owen Benjamin just mostly seems to be like a racist asshole on the internet. That seems to be his thing. He's just a racist asshole on the internet. I did see, I think it was the John Thor guy, number 6, who made a video like not calling him out. What's the thing that like flat earthers and conspiracy say? They call you a shill, pretty much. Pointing out his shillnessness, how much of a shill he is. So that's been a thing that I think Owen Benjamin, a lot of people don't seem to enjoy him for that. But otherwise he just really seems like a racist asshole to me. But we'll get there. The making a myth is pretty much how to make a myth is pretty much like an anti-Semitic garbage of like, hey, if you history is all fake because of the Jews. So that's where we're at. All right, so voting is now closed. With that said, let's find out who our winner of today is, and it is. You won't be drinking for like another hour and a half. I might not. 2 was the most voted on the poll with 50% of the votes. We got number 2, which is AOC by David Icke. So this is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the new congresswoman, and David Icke has a lot to say about her. If I can find on the topic, no, which one's the right one? Oh, where'd the video go? Did I delete it? I might have deleted it, guys. I might have hyped this up and deleted it. Microbloganism, send me the link again. Where did I put it? I think I might have deleted it. Not gonna lie, I think I might have deleted it. So this is fun. Oh, this is all Micro gave me this video, which is why I think because I was emptying out the trash and whatnot, that I think I deleted it by accident, because I still have the 20 simplest proof, which is one that we did last week. We still have that one, and not the other ones. Lies on Mars, Joe Rogan explaining another gigantic flaw in the globe model. Yeah, no, I don't have it. I tried and I don't have it. So we'll wait for microbloganism. Otherwise, Liars on Wires was number 2 with most of the votes. So but you know, we can also just watch it on YouTube, because my computer isn't gonna die this time if I open up a browser window. You know, my computer won't die, so we can always go and look it up over here. David Icke and AOC. So we can look, see if this one is. Which one? The truth about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Yeah, that's this one. We are
ready to feel.
No, I don't want your stupid commercials. It's by We Are Change. So what I'll do is, and I know this is going to be like super weird and awkward, but I am going to try to download it, not just because I don't get rid of some of the lag and whatnot. So I am going to try to download the video real quick here and have it. But that's the one. Sorry for not being prepared, but you know, this is what happens when R&D is just, you know, R&D. So we'll get that there, get downloaded, go away, and don't need you, just needed to give me this one video, please. Okay, so there it is. Okay, so that'll get downloaded real quick. But you do you have it? I do have it. I don't know. Yeah, sorry, everything's Micro voted number 2 to win. Micro did also vote like 3 times. I did see all 3 of your sock puppet accounts show up, Micro. so don't think I'm not watching you. I'm not watching you be, you know, sneaky there. But now you know why Micro voted so many. Why it won. It's because Micro is the one who suggested it, so it is going to be there. As far as I don't remember much about David Icke, besides the fact that he's. I feel like I've talked about him numerous times because he's David Icke, and David Icke, as far as I know, just has a lot of crazy ideas about a lot of crazy things. So, you know, that's just the way it goes. Okay, come on, finish downloading. God damn it. There it is. Okay, we got it downloaded. Sorry this is taking so long. The level of professionalism being shown right now is just stellar. Honestly, it's just the best. Okay, so there we go. We got David Icke. So again, the name of the video is The Truth About Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez with David Icke, done by wearechange.org, as you can see on his lovely microphone there. You should keep referring to him as Kyle Broflovsky's little brother. Who's Kyle Broflovsky? I don't know who that one is. Okay, so what does he have to say? Who knows? Let's find out. Oh, that is real loud. That is real loud. I am super sorry, everyone. That hurt my ears. I can only imagine how that felt for the rest of you.
wearechange.org here with the man, the myth, the legend himself, David Icke. And as you know, you've been probably watching this YouTube channel for a while. We've been having many conversations throughout the years, and holy cow, has the political landscape changed so much. Now, obviously,
Kyle from South Park. Ah, which one's Kyle? Is Kyle the Jewish one? I like, I know Cartman because he's the fat one, anti-Semitic asshole one, right? He's that guy, and then Kyle, I want to say, is the reasonable one. And then Kenny is obviously the one who dies a whole lot, but that's about all I know. And I know there's a fourth kid. I mean, like, of the main group, or the one who started the South Park group, and then, you know, there's Timmy and Token and a bunch of other ones. He's a Jew, yeah. I haven't watched South Park in a very long time. I don't dislike South Park by any stretch of the imagination. I think if Matt and something Parker, whatever their names are, I think they're very creative, and they do a wonderful job at satiring things in ways that you don't expect them to be satired, and I do love it. I do like that, but at the same time, I get turned off a lot by all the poop jokes. It's just a little bit too much. I know it's just not my thing. And I know that if you get past the poop jokes, like, there's a lot of really great commentary. I especially love their Scientology one, which I know is one of the older ones, and I know the voice actor for, like, Chef or whatever quit because of the Scientology episode, but, like, that has some wonderful commentary on Scientology. A lot of their newer, like, there's always sort of controversy with not really controversy, but confusion as to, like, what side of the, like, not what side, but who are they really criticizing? Like, are they criticizing the left, or are they criticizing the right? And a lot of people don't realize that they're criticizing both half the time, or they're either criticizing both, or they're actually making a bigger, broader statement about the relationship between both sides of the aisle, the political aisle, right? So they're very good. I do love them. Yeah, the voice actor for Chef quit because they were making fun of Scientology, but in the previous episode, Chef was making fun of Christianity. Yeah, no, he's a bit of a. It definitely hit. Like, that is one of the neat things. Well, not neat, but, like, a neat thing about what happened there is it really goes to show you some of the hypocrisy of people, like the you can, you know, the whole free speech, you can make fun of everything, you can make a joke about everything unless it's something that I like, and at which point you need to shut the fuck up about it. And that was a really great example about that. There's been other, as of late, people, like, that's been happening because we're going to talk about politics, obviously, because we're going to talk about AOC. Recently, if you are living under a rock, you probably didn't hear about the whole at the Trump rally that a lot of his supporters were chanting, "Send her back" to Ilhan Omar. I can't pronounce her name. The congresswoman from Minnesota, and while extremely racist and a horrible thing to say, is almost very expected from the crowd that Trump gathers. So, you know, not too surprising. Just what is surprising is the people who have come out against it. So people like Ben Shapiro have been like, "This is disgusting. Why are you doing this? This is not okay." Ben Shapiro has been, like, incessantly attacking Ilhan Omar for, like, months now. And has called her anti-Semitic, has called her just a bunch of, like, he's been a horrible fucking jackass to her. And somehow it's worse to say, you know, send her back is now somehow, like, too no for him. Like, fuck you, Ben. You've been saying horrible shit too. Finally went home yesterday. I did see that. Can I leave the U.S. now? I know, right? I did see. She made it all the way back to Minnesota. I do want to. Minnesota's lovely. It's a lovely state. I want to move up there, but my wife won't let me. She says Nebraska is the furthest north she'll go, which she regretted that decision when I offered to move to Antarctica. Because if she don't want to move any further north, that's fine. We'll move south for a little bit. So yeah. Then after he kid, he used his voice clips to make him say he was a pedophile over and over again for an episode. I do remember that. That was good. So yeah. If you point of that meandering story is if you can't take it, don't dish it out. It's pretty much what that is. If you can't take the heat of, you know, criticizing or making jokes, don't fucking do it yourself. That's all. That's it. Yeah, you see, subtle racism is okay, but overt racism isn't. I know, right? That is kind of the thing. Like, a lot of God, this is such a topic right now. Let's be topical. yeah, just if you like, if you're gonna make, gonna say these things, you can't then be like pretend to be the victim, or then get offended when like people just like, oh, that's taking it too far. It's like, no, you have been saying the same things, right? Like just for the like, especially Ben Shapiro, he's the guy who has been cited by, what was it, the Christchurch shooter. He cited Ben Shapiro as one of his inspirations. Like, the kind of shit that Ben Shapiro says inspires mass shooters. So you are saying some horrible ass shit, Ben Shapiro. It might not be overtly racist, but you're still saying some racist, horrible shit. How great was it when Lindsey Graham excused the president was that he's not racist, he's fascist. He didn't say it because of her race, he said it because of her political views. Moronic. What the fuck's a waifu pillow? Google it, but make sure that you're in a room by yourself first. That's a waifu pillow. Yeah. I did hear. I was actually listening to NPR yesterday on my way to work, and they were talking about how the Republicans / president are going to try to spin this, and it's not going to be about a race, right? It's not because she's brown. It's going to be about the what we want the and I'm gonna put a lot of quotation air quotes around this. What we want the culture of America to be like. And that's what it's really about, because somehow Ilham Omar, who's an American, somehow represents a different, like a change in the culture of America that we can have. And conservatives not all for changing things. They want to conserve things the way that they are, or regress us backwards, one or the other. And so that's going to be kind of the way they spin it. So the Lindsey Graham thing makes perfect sense there. That you're gonna. It's not about her skin color, even though that's what it is. It's about her skin color and the fact that she's Muslim, and people are not okay with that because America, right? All right. So with that said, we haven't even let this guy talk yet. You talked for not amount of time, so let's let you talk and tell us all about AOC.
See, people are going to say David Icke's a controversial figure. Well, we believe in having all voices and hearing all opinions, and David has been speaking a lot of interesting details, a lot of interesting facts for decades now, has been smeared by the mainstream media, and many times has been proven right on a lot of the predictions, a lot of the research, a lot of the analysis that you provide that was way beyond its time and way beyond even recognized by a lot of...
Sorry, I stopped. He kind of droned on and I kind of stopped paying attention. I want my beer opener. Where are you, beer opener? Oh, got it. Found it. Found my beer opener. All right. We're gonna open the beer. I didn't think I was, but we're gonna do it. Yeah. So David Icke. I don't remember. God, I really should have looked up more about David Icke because I don't remember much about him. So one of the fun things about, the conspiratard / extremist like to push is the fact that like mainstream media isn't going to listen to them anymore, and they usually, there's usually some sort of Illuminati, Freemason conspiracy behind this, and never is it like, never do they have any amount of introspectiveness to the whole thing, because like maybe they're criticizing you because you're saying some wacky ass shit. Ever think about that? You can tell me that David Icke does not look like every female gym teacher. Okay. Freedom is an illusion. We are under government control. I could see that. Yeah, I could see where you'd get that. Hi, buddy. You gonna sit down so everyone can watch you? You gotta actually sit down though. Oh, you're fat. You have tiny paws. Okay. If you don't have work later, I think I'd be drinking along with you. Yeah, we're gonna start drinking.
People, and this is why in this very specific video, I really wanted to get your take on what people are deeming this kind of new face of politics, the new kind of supposed leadership of the Democratic Party, and that, of course, is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. What are your thoughts and what's your analysis on this kind of new politician that people love to hate?
Jesus fuck, get to your question. You are the worst. I know I meander, but I'm a fucking useless ass YouTuber. You're supposed to be like some sort of professional journalist of some of some variety, and yet you like resaid the same sentence like 5 times. That's a goddamn question. No, I'm a slave to laws, not domesticated. I'm at work for another hour. Yeah, I don't like doing shows necessarily, one, because drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning. Not that it's too early. It's never too early to start drinking. But you know, don't listen to me. It's just it's too early. Like, it's too early for my American friends, and it's weirdly in the afternoon for my European friends. So you know, I like my normal time.
Or everyone is just obsessing about?
Well, first of all, if you're not controversial in a world that's absolutely insane, then what are you doing? What are you doing? Imagine being acceptable in a world that's insane. I mean, so that's the starting point.
I'm sorry, what? God, we're gonna do this. Okay. Imagine, you have no idea how many time zones suck. All the time zones that are not mine suck. Is that cat on your lap? Or are you happy to see me? Why would you need a waifu pillow? Sometimes you just need a waifu pillow, is all. No, we're not buying a waifu pillow. We're gonna buy a soft box, which is light. It's just that, you know, Nora Kun, who's one of my patrons, suggested that I get changed to a waifu pillow. So, by her suggestion, it's now a waifu pillow. It's over 17 p.m. Wait, 17 p.m.? Do you mean 1700? Here in Germany, so I can drink beer after 17 p.m. Oh, 5 p.m. Okay. You can't tell me it's not the face of an older. I could see that. It kind of reminds me of what's that movie? Matilda. I don't know if you guys ever watched Matilda. It's a kids movie that came out in like early 2000s, maybe 90s. I forget. And it's about this girl with it's like Stranger Things but friendly. It's about this girl with superpowers and not really a family, and how she finds family and has superpowers, and beats the bad guy. So it's like Stranger Things but in a kid's book. So that one had Principal Gruntold, like something guttural. Like her name is something like real guttural, something like that. Gertstrold, something, I don't know. She kind of David Icke's face kind of reminds me of the actress who played that, or even more really the character, who was just kind of just a horrible human being. Traditionally, one can drink after 11, so you are nearly there. Close enough. You're right? Close enough. That's good. That is good beer, though. I have drank earlier in the morning than 11 o'clock, but usually only on vacations. Not in the not middle of Sunday. But my wife also said I'm not allowed to get wasted during the show because I have to move shit. Trunchbull, thank you, Miss Trunchbull. Yeah, so kind of reminds me of Miss Trunchbull. I haven't actually, I'd have to, if I looked up the picture of Miss Trunchbull, I'm sure she looks nothing like that, but right now David Icke just reminds me of Miss Trunchbull. All right, here we go.
Who's Miss Trunchbull?
Doesn't David Icke remind you of Miss Trunchbull?
Oh, I thought you were saying that I was like Miss Trunchbull for limiting you from getting drunk.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, thank goodness. Okay.
No, we're talking about David Icke. Does David Icke look like Miss Trunchbull?
Yeah, if you dye his hair and...
Yeah, it's updated with white hair.
That ridiculous military dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, great. There goes my childhood nightmares coming back to me all over again.
Oh.
I hated that movie.
Nice save. All right, here we go.
Not controversial. Might be worth asking why not. But you have brought up a very important subject, and I don't know how much tape there is, but I mean, I could talk about this for ages because there's so many aspects.
Oh, thank you, McNixie.
Ocasio-Cortez is the personification and the natural outgrowth and consequence of what has been happening in American universities and colleges.
Are we gonna... Okay, American universities and colleges. R&D is now taking bets to what we're going to talk about. So put your best prediction into the chat if you'd like. What do you think we're going to talk about? What do you think this is going to be about? Do you think we're going to talk about those feminists? Is that going to be the thing? SJWs, pronouns, Marxists. Ooh, Marx is a good one. The poor education system. I sincerely doubt we'll actually get to the poor education system. Or are we going to talk about the fact that college is too expensive and then we need to make it free for everyone so that Americans can, compete with the rest of the civilized world when it comes to job qualifications and, not being uneducated assholes? I doubt it'll be that one. Postmodern Marxism? Oh, yes. The always, the friend of high intellectual, what's his face? Jordan Peterson, the postmodern Marxism, which by the way, in case you don't know, postmodern Marxism is just dog whistle for the Jews. Every time, God, this show is just every time we're gonna get to the Jews. We're always gonna get to the Jews. I am really if you watch my show and you're Jewish, I am so sorry that I constantly watch videos that talk shit about you. It's not my fault. I promise I have nothing against you. He's gonna mention that she was a bartender. One of the things that get pointed out, because that gets pointed out a lot, that she used to be a bartender, right? And I think this is worth pointing out to the people who are like, oh, she used to be a bartender, is there's been this what do you call it, not drama, this, what's the thing, this story that's been propagated by conservatives for a while, that conservatives are the everyman, right? You always hear things like George Bush he seems like a guy who I could sit and have a beer with, right? Or things like that. And liberals and Democrats, they're elitists, right? They have people who go to school, like they go to Harvard and Yale and whatnots, and they read books. What a bunch of elitist assholes. So you always hear this story, the story that has been this narrative. That's the word I was looking. This narrative has been propagated that liberals are elitist, conservatives are your Midwestern down to earth beer drinking folk, right? But the moment that you have a politician who is a down to earth like bartender who fucking like worked her way into her position, then all of a sudden fucking conservatives are the most elitist assholes in the world. Like all of a sudden it's like, oh, she used to be a bartender. Like, what? You're supposed to be for the little man. You're supposed to be for the common man, right? Like that's your thing. And once you get a common man in the power, you're like, nope, shouldn't listen to them because they used to be a bartender. Fuck you. Oh no, books. The outrage is true. If I was a conservative, my antagonism would be that she's easily influenced because she didn't have enough money. But then they're not that smart. It's true. Okay. So with that said, I don't know what. Okay. So predictions, cultural Marxist, postmodern Marxist, Marxism, feminism. We're gonna talk about all these things. $5. Oh, nope.
For so many years now. And not just there, of course. There is something, a process I've been observing for a long time, which is something will start often in terms of the progressive movement, shall we say, and I'll go on to challenge shortly whether progressive means what it's supposed to mean.
God, you guys are real slow talking. You are of the school, it seems like to me, David Icke and show person, of using way too many words to say things that take very few words. The Ben Shapiro school of thought. He's old. You should check that beer, and then she would continue with the subject content. What the happened to the stream? What do you mean what happened to the stream? We're still here. Chug, not check. Chug the beer. I should chug the beer. Yeah, that'd be okay. Sorry, David Icke. I'm gonna do that thing. I'm sorry, David Icke. Not really. Where we're gonna speed you up a tad bit because I have grown impatient with your nonsense. So we're we're gonna go up to 1.5% of your 1.5%, 150% of your normal speed. See if you can talk faster, David Icke, and get to your point.
California, and then it moves across America, and then it moves across the Atlantic. So what we're now seeing, for instance, in British colleges and universities is exactly the same process. And it had to, eventually.
Wait, you think that liberalism or like liberal ideas start in California? Like, as a excommunicated member of California, I can't fix my goddamn camera. As an excommunicated member of California, no. So is California rather liberal? Yes. Is it as liberal as people think? No. California is huge. Like, California is a gigantic state. It's God, like, one of the big things, if you're from California or sort of pay attention to California politics, is one of the things that's always been a problem is the fact that Southern California is far more liberal than Northern California is, because it's such a long state. Like, to say that there's like a culture, like one culture for California, is nonsensical, because it's such a large state that you can't have that, right? You can't have one culture for such a large area. So different parts of California have different cultures. Has he not heard of the East Coast? He hasn't heard of anything. Honestly, he's kind of a weirdo, right? So this idea that California, while liberal, isn't as liberal as it should be. California was one of the states that I think at some point they did try to and got really close, or might have even done it, outlawed gay marriage. So it's not even liberalism is even in the South, believe it or not. Yeah. So like, it's not like this idea you don't understand the way, like, right, you're talking in buzzwords, you're talking in narratives. Oh, those California liberals. Not everyone in California is liberal, especially up north. The more north you go into California, the more conservative you get. There's also a lot of gentrification in California, so you have a lot of very rich areas that are rather conservative. Malibu comes to mind, and you have a lot of places that are far more conservative. Especially if you go down to San Diego, you go down to those areas. Yeah, you have a lot of liberalism, but it's not everywhere. So no, and it also makes it seem like Europe just doesn't have any liberalism. It all comes from the States, which is kind of a weird, like, I'm not a political scientist or anything, but I question the validity of saying that liberalism comes from the US and then gets exported over to Europe. I am sure that Europe has its own liberalism and its own conservatism, right? Like separate from the US. Like, we don't necessarily like export liberalism. That's not one of our main exports to Europe. I didn't bend I caught up in the ACA stuff. So hi, and I'm finally on Ike. Damn, we are finally on David Icke. Christy, did you get your mug? Did you order your mug? Is it going well? Let me know. I want to help out if it doesn't go there. If you don't get it or whatever, please let me know so we can make sure that you get your mug, winner of the mug from last week. I hate it when people say California is liberal. It's not. Liberalism has an economic side too. It's true. Then, so yes, I guess that is worth pointing out. New Mac going well. Yes, look at all this not lag. I love all this not lag. All this not lag is great. We're getting. Speaking of which, I did order the 32 gigs of RAM are showing up next week to this apartment. Oh shit, I gotta do that. Hopefully it'll show up. So yeah, okay, so yes, so liberalism is also not like there is the always in which I find funny, the I'm socially liberal but fiscally conservative, which is pretty much like I like to smoke pot but I don't like poor people. So that's a thing. So yes, no, liberalism also does have an economic component, and California is not very economically liberal. It's very conservatively economically conservative for the most part. So that'll be that. I got 32 on my laptop, really snappy on loading. That's good. 32 gigs of RAM. Mine has a max of 16. Mine has a max of 100 something, whatever 64 times 32 is 128. Yes, 128. Thank you. Thank you, Red. Mine's got a max at 128. I don't know if I'll ever get to that point, but I bought this myself, which is great. I'm gonna install it as soon as it gets here. I don't know, it make things snappier. It's great. I've been playing games on my computer. If you don't have that, is that a laptop? No, this is the new Mac. So I guess I can show it off because I can. Why not, right? You have a bit of a boom on your mic. I know my pop filter fell off. I'm gonna work with Luke Filewalker on fixing things, but for now, you missed the beginning. Rewind to the beginning of the stream. Okay, so that's the old Mac right here, still there. New Mac, look at that gigantic son of a. It's big. I love it. It's quite a bit bigger. So we got a new Mac desktop, courtesy of all of our hard work. Big thank you, of course, to patrons and people did super chats and whatnot. So we got together, we got a Mac, we got a new Mac. It's great. This is the second week in a row we have it, and it's been super cool. Hello, Scott. How are you? So yeah, 10 inches of RAM. There we go. You need a substantial upgrade to CPU if you want to put 128 gigs of RAM in your computer. Probably. It probably would be useless. I don't know what the maximum that I could put on this one is. I could probably find out, but on this one, I could potentially buy 128. I don't know if I could, if it would do me any good. 64 might be the max I could do. But for now, we're gonna get 32 coming in soon, I hope. If you're ever in Tucson, try Barrio Blonde beer. I will. Try to remember. I don't know if I'm ever gonna go to Tucson though. And that'll be a thing. I'll think about it the next time I travel. I honestly think you're already going to bottleneck your CPU with all that RAM. I might. Oh, we'll find out. Okay, so with that said, let's do some more David Icke.
Produce an Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez because people, very simply, go through college and university. They add years to their age, and eventually they become adults, and what do? Well, enter politics. So she is basically the first wave, and ladies and gentlemen, it is a wave, of this progressive mentality, this extremist progressive mentality, which claims to be liberal, but is actually the very opposite of liberal.
Oh, so I really wish one he hasn't actually said anything substantial. Like, I've been padding out most of this because he hasn't said anything substantial. Like, he keeps saying things. It's not liberal, but it is liberal. But we're gonna talk about it. We'll talk about it later, but we haven't actually gotten to it. So maybe we'll actually get there, but I doubt it.
Liberals, true liberals. I'm not talking about political liberals. Let's talk about the definition in the dictionary of liberal. It's basically someone.
At this speed, he's still slow. Yeah, we're gonna speed you up. You're still very, very slow. Are we gonna make an argument from the dictionary? Awesome sauce. Those are my favorite. Just my favorite.
Liberty, maximum freedom, maximum right to choose their lifestyle, maximum freedom of speech and opinion. So I've already demolished the claims that this progressive mentality has for employing the word liberal to describe itself. It is the opposite of liberal. And you know, Luke, what's kind of...
So how? This would be nice. How is it the opposite of liberal? So, yes, it probably is aliens. He talks too slow, so his brain can't keep up. It's true. How is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's liberalism the opposite of liberalism? I would really like to know. What fascist rules or laws she's proposed, like what things make her, and you're not going to tell me, you're just gonna, I ask these things knowing that I will never get an answer, but I'm still gonna ask them anyway.
Stunningly ironic from someone who's lived 66 years now, the speed at which the former liberal left that I grew up in, that I was a supporter of, how it's been hijacked. It's such a speed by the very opposite of everything it stood for. If Martin Luther King looked at Ocasio-Cortez and this whole progressive tyranny, he would probably weep. And yet...
What... Again, are we going to get policies? No. It just is, right? Again, I sincerely doubt that if Martin Luther King were around, he would agree with you on anything, right? Like, so one of the fun things and interesting things about history is people, especially when when conservatives use Martin Luther King to like back themselves up, is that so Martin Luther King was not popular when he did his thing, right? When he was marching and he was doing the bus things and all that nonsense. Not nonsense, I take it back. It wasn't nonsense. When he was doing all of that, he was incredibly unpopular, and he was incredibly unpopular for the exact same reasons that the groups like Antifa, the groups like what is it, the Wall Street one that happened a while ago that I forgot, the 99% or whatever they're called, the groups like that were unpopular. The same reason that groups like Colin Kaepernick are unpopular within the conservative movement. He would have been unpopular for the exact same reasons. People would have told him that he needed to stop bothering everyone else, right? He needed to stop that his movement was hurting the black community more than it was helping. How often have you heard that? That rather than focusing on how cops are mistreating African Americans, that he should focus more on how the black community has so much black crime, right? Like, they would have done the exact same. The conservatives would have fucking hated Martin Luther King. It pisses me off to no end that conservatives try to pretend like they would have backed up Martin Luther King. If Martin Luther King were today and was fighting for the exact same thing, and I think he would have been fighting for the exact same things that like Colin Kaepernick had been fighting for, and a lot of the new progressives have been fighting for, they would hate him, and for the exact same reasons that conservatives back in his day hated Martin Luther King's. Conservatives Saturday take Martin Luther King Jr.'s word at face value. If somebody uses those exact words today, though, they'll actually be masking something more scandalous. They're so transparent. The last comment on my old channel was, "You sound like an old professor with brain damage," to which I replied, "Yes." I like it.
Such is the self-deceit and self-deception that this anti-liberal, progressive mentality sees itself as the modern-day civil rights movement. And just look at what it's saying, that basically the state authority, and not even that, billionaire-owned internet corporations. Do you remember when the liberal left was against billionaire corporations? Do you remember that? I still do, but I have a good memory. And that these corporations and the state in general should dictate what people can say, what opinions they can have, and their right to express them, and the right to have the means of circulating them.
Wait, who, what are you talking... You're not going to give me an example, and I don't know why I expect one. I don't know why I expected anything out of you. So who exactly is saying that the government is allowed to tell you what you can or can't say, right? Because the last time I saw it was, and if I could be wrong, it is still to this day, it is still conservatives who get all pissy about flag burning, right? It's still conservatives who do that. It's not liberals, right? And liberals have pretty much as far as I know, have pretty much taken the stands that a lot of conservatives have taken when it comes to social media, which is they're a private corporation, and if you have terms of services and you break them, right? Like I have yet to see. Especially, and there might be, right, because they exist. It's not like I'm saying they don't, right? There might be some fringe group that says, hey, U.S. government, you need to go in there and start monitoring Facebook and making sure that people can't use hate speech or whatever, right? But where is the policy that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is pushing for that? Where is her policy saying you can't... Facebook has to be censoring speech on their platform? Where is Bernie Sanders' bill proposing that Google must kick all Nazis off of YouTube? Where are all these policy changes coming from? I'm really curious as to where you think, or where these are. Like you're just saying things. You're not actually demonstrating how Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is proposing policy changes that would enact the things that you are saying are happening. His talking better is so telling. You can tell he's making all this up as he goes because he hasn't thought it a bit more deeply. It's true. Oh no! Stop shilling. You were over shilling Streamlabs. Also, if you like to become a patron, Upside Down Eye patron. Thank you all my patrons: Sticker Microblogganism and Evan Williams and Luke and Dora. And if I forget your name, I'm sorry, but you're in the list somewhere. Okay, so with that said, oh son of a bitch, I dropped my fidget toy. Okay, with that said, there's the last of the first beer, so we need a beer refill. We will continue with more David Icke in a second here, and we will listen to just you know, a little bit of royalty-free music and some fan art. So we'll be right back. Enjoy some royalty-free music and some fan art. All right, everyone, and we're back. We got our beer. We got our beer opener. There it is, beer opener. Excuse me, that was disgusting. We're good to go. Your fan art actually looks a bit like me. So, Micro kind of mostly decided the design of that one, which is how that works. Like, if I haven't done fan art in a while, but for the most part, the person who is getting the fan art gets to decide what it looks like. So that was mostly a Micro's concoction there. Oh, that's too good. Okay, so with that said, let's get back to some David Icke here. Listen to him rant a little bit more, say nonsense for a little bit. I'm going to try to open my beer here awkwardly.
We now have this extraordinary alliance between the fake progressives, the fake liberals, and billionaire corporations. So that when people that the progressives don't like their opinion, when they are censored by these corporations, the progressive mentality starts breaking into applause and cheers. Now, the original, true, as opposed to Alexandria, fake, liberal left, would have been in the streets. You know, I remember as a kid in the 60s, seeing on black and white television, seeing the students at Berkeley going out on protests demanding freedom of speech. Now, there are protests to delete freedom of speech. Now, some things happened here.
Protested again. So freedom of speech. So you David Icke are of the seems to be of the mentality of freedom of speech means freedom of from consequence. Those are not the same thing, right? Nobody's saying you can't say horribly bigoted shit, right? Nobody's saying you can't go to Charlottesville and be part of a racist rally. Nobody is saying you can't do that. What people are saying is, if you're going to go to Charlottesville and you're going to be part, hold up a tiki torch and say Jews will not replace us, that there's going to be a consequence to that, and that might be that you lose your job, right? And if you're gonna make death threats or encourage violence of people, and your Twitter account gets deleted because of that, if you harass someone else and your Twitter account gets deleted, like, is that really, like, is your Twitter account getting deleted by a big corporation really like your freedom of speech being taken away? It's a fucking Twitter account, right? And it's not like you weren't allowed to say the thing. It's just that is the consequence of you saying the thing. That doesn't mean there aren't consequences. This isn't new, David Icke. This isn't new. This isn't, again, conservatives also the ones who are like, don't burn the flag, right? Don't burn this thing that you yourself bought. You're not allowed to burn it. Otherwise, if you do, you are not American and you should, whatever, go back to your country, right? So, or hell, there's been schools can't there's been schools who've gotten. I shouldn't make up stories, and not that I'm making them up, but I shouldn't. I know anecdotes that I'd have to look up to confirm, but so maybe I shouldn't use them because I'm gonna be a good skeptic and not just use anecdotes. So I'm gonna keep that one. However, I will tell a personal story about sort of this fake nationalism that is rather pervasive in society. When I was a middle school teacher, we had, around that time was when Trayvon Martin, there we go, Trayvon Martin was shot by whatever the fuck his name is, right? A racist asshole. Trayvon Martin was shot, and right afterwards there was a lot of protest because of the shooting. And at my school, a lot of the kids got together and they decided they weren't going to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, which, if you're not in the U.S. and you're wondering what the hell a Pledge of Allegiance is, it's something that we do at schools like every day for some weird-ass reason, where everyone has to get up and do the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and then you can sit down and move on with your day. It's really crazy. Yeah, I won't use that as a personal story. I know what I said. It's basically praying to the flag. It is. So in the U.S. this happens. also in the U.S., the Supreme Court has ruled that you cannot force anyone to do the Pledge of Allegiance, right? You can't say you can't make somebody do this. So if you're at school, you can't make your kids stand up and do it. You can't threaten them with detention. You can't threaten them with suspension. You cannot force anyone to do this. You just can't, right? So because when I was a middle school teacher, this was happening. A lot of the kids decided not to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, and teachers were really upset. Teachers, to the point where teachers were like threatening detention to the students if they didn't stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. And this is the kind of shit that happens, right? This is the kind of like your freedom. We were talking about freedom, right? Freedom of speech. This is the kind of shit that conservatives get all fucking pissy about, right? They're okay with like freedom of speech, freedom of expression, unless you don't want to stand up during the Pledge of Allegiance, unless you want to take a knee during the national anthem, in which case we don't really care about freedom of speech no more. In which case, go live in fucking China, right? Go live in North Korea, where you don't even have the freedom to do that. So this idea that somehow like real liberals care about freedom of speech, or somehow they're turning their back on it. You're no fucking better, David Icke. You're no fucking better. You can make parents sign a syllabus that requires your kids to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in private schools, though. That you can. Private schools are different, and I don't like it, but it is different. It is different in private schools. I don't like it. I don't think you should be allowed to anyway, but it's a private school. You paid money to send your kid there. If you're not happy with it, send them somewhere else. Hey, I was part of the lawsuit that made it so the teachers couldn't make those of us who wouldn't stand up for the out in the hallway or otherwise be singled out. That was back in the 70s. Yeah. Well, good on you. Yeah, no, I think that was great. I had to. God, that was a fucking awkward ass year because I had to go talk to teachers that year because my students came and complained to me that teachers were making them stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I had to go talk to them and let them know that wasn't legally allowed. Like, hey, you cannot force your kids to do this. If they don't want to do it, it's their choice. They have the right not to participate. You can't single them out. You can't make them feel bad about it. You can't threaten them with detention or extra homework or whatever. They don't have to participate. I hate it. This is again one of the many reasons I will probably never go back to teaching again. Because if I ever did, I would be the one teacher who'd be like, no, one, we're not doing the Pledge of Allegiance because I have fucking things to teach you all. I'm not about to waste my time doing a Pledge of Allegiance. And two, if it has to be played over the intercom, fine. If you want to participate, that's all on you. If you don't want to participate, I don't care. And I feel like I'd get so many parents just being pissy about it. Freedom of speech is only applicable when you use it to yell at minorities to shut up. It's true. You should have told other teachers that they were handing out pamphlets to the students with legal advice against other teachers. I did have to call the Freedom from Religion Foundation on one of the schools that I worked at because for Martin Luther King Day, 2000 something, 8, 9, 9, 10, something like that. They were, American, this is an American thing. God, Americans are so fucking weird. For Martin Luther King Day, a lot of schools get like ribbons. They're about this big, and you're supposed to pin them on your shirt or whatever and wear them around school that day as, to commemorate Martin Luther King Day. Nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's just a weird thing that we do in America. But this one year, we got the ribbons from a church of some sort. We got these Martin Luther King Day ribbons. It had, Martin Luther King's name, so MLK, and then like the date or something. And then underneath it, it had a cross, a Christian, very obvious Christian cross to it. And we got an email from the superintendent pretty much telling every teacher, you have to wear this thing on Martin Luther King Day. This is part of, this is your job now. This is part of your job to wear this. And then I had to talk to the Freedom from Religion Foundation and be like, hey, not cool. I'm an atheist. I don't want to wear a Christian pin on my shirt today. And the school can't make me. They're a government agency. They can't make me wear religious iconography, so that because they want to. They can't make me do it. It never went to court, unfortunately. I would have had a lot of fun if it went to court. It never went to court. But they did get a very strongly worded letter from the Freedom from Religion Foundation, pretty much saying, hey, we've gotten reports that you did this. That's not allowed. If you keep doing it, we're gonna have a little chat with our lawyers. So that was fun. I'm sure my school hates me for all the trouble I made for them. I wouldn't stand up because I was religious and I was praying to an object. I won't stand as an atheist for the same reason. There you go. All right. I don't know. I forgot what David Icke was saying a while ago.
And the truly liberal left has been hijacked and has been replaced by something that I would have called, and I will still call, but I would have called years ago, the far right. Because if you...
What? Really? That's hilarious. The liberals now are the far right. Okay. At one point, it was common to have Christian symbols in German authority office. It was banished and barbarian, currently trying to bring them back for some weird reason. Yeah, you're not supposed to. God, you're not supposed to. So there's a lot of religion is awful in America. Christianity, I shouldn't say religion because there are a bunch of different ones, right? Christianity is rather awful in the States because you can't get away from it, right? If you want to be non-religious, you can't get away from it. If you want to be of any other religion that isn't Christianity, you can't get away from it, and it's really frustrating. And there's a lot of little things that shouldn't bother you, but they get it's little things, and after a while you get super annoyed, and it's just the worst. 100% David, I think, that he's going to appeal to liberals by saying that. He thinks that people will immediately think that the current left are actually old-fashioned right-wingers. I think that is exactly what he thinks. That he thinks, if I call modern liberals this thing that they don't like to be, and I compare them to them, they're gonna listen to me, and then they're gonna see the error of their ways and see how they're actually super conservative, extremist right-wingers. It's great.
If you look at the classic example of the far right, the Nazis, but you look at Stalin, you look at any tyranny, what's the first thing they want when they get control of power? They want to delete all opinion and all information that would get people to see them in a light they don't want to be seen.
Again, okay. David. Stalin was far right. I don't even care. David, tell me, and I know you're not going to because it doesn't exist, tell me what what policies Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has tried to, or is planning to, or has platform on to implement that would delete freedom of speech, as you have put it. There isn't any, right? There isn't any. What has happened is consumers of social media have decided to get together and tell the platforms that they are on, hey, we don't like this, and this. We are consumers of your product, being social media. We don't like to see these things. Please enforce these rules. Corporations like Facebook, Google, whatever, Twitter's, they can choose to listen to their consumers and start, say, implementing their or actually standing by their terms of service, right? They can do that, but and this is a big but, they don't do that, David. They don't even bother to, David. There's this narrative that somehow conservative conservative accounts on Twitter and conservative YouTubers are somehow not are being targeted by Twitter and YouTube and whatnots, when it could be further from the truth. like there's just this narrative that somehow, you know, it's all these conservative websites that are the ones being, or the conservative sites that are being the ones taken down, when no, like, no, what YouTube and Twitter and Facebook are doing is they are listening to their consumers, kind of, sort of, but they have consumers on both ends, so they're trying to keep like this middle, like, you can't have hate speech, but we're gonna let Donald Trump say things on Twitter, right? Because reasons. Because, you know, Donald Trump's Twitter account gets a lot of people onto Twitter, and I'm sure Twitter doesn't want to get rid of one of their biggest, you know, one of the biggest source of traffics on their website. So they're not gonna kick him off, even though he breaks their terms of service. Like, God, you're so fucking dense.
So when people were trying to expose the Nazis in Germany, they shut them down. They banned their public meetings. They burned their books. And the same with Stalin, the same with all tyrannies. So here we have the fake liberal left that's hijacked the Democratic Party with billionaire money from people like George Soros, come to him in a second, who are employing and demanding the same responses to alternative opinion that the Nazis used and the Stalin used. Silence them, shut them down, ban them.
Goddamn. So one of my favorite things about this is somebody pointed out, I think it was Vadim. If you don't follow Vadim and Creationist Cat on the internet, follow them on the internet. They are amazing. But I think it was Vadim who pointed out who took Ben Shapiro's what's his, not The Blaze, whatever his Turning Point, no, not Turning Point, whatever the fuck his website is. They took the terms of service from there, and one of them is, believe it or not, that they will ban you for breaking their rules, right? Conservatives are okay with this too. Conservatives are perfectly okay with people being Daily Wire. Thank you, Daily Wire. Like, this isn't a one-sided issue, right? That people don't like. People are willing to set up their own, like, moderation. You're allowed to moderate your own goddamn space. It's your own goddamn space, right? You're allowed to moderate it. This isn't a one-sided thing that's allowed to moderate. This isn't one-sided at all. And then to top it all off, the things that a lot of liberals can't, like, get really outraged about is things like, you know, harassing people for being so let's take the Milo one, because that's a good one. Harassing people for the color of their skin is what people get really upset about. The things that conservatives get really bent out of shape about is the fact that the president used "goddammit," right? Like, these two things are not the same. Starting a harassment campaign towards a black actress and calling her, you know, saying that she looks like an ape or a monkey, and throwing slurs at her and encouraging your followers to harass her is not the same as the president saying "God damn it." These are not equal things. God damn it, they're not. Small secondary feelings, they only care about mine. It's true.
And they are so permanently located up their own backsides, it's too dark to see anything. And thus they are so lacking self-awareness, they cannot actually see that the way they're behaving and the world they're demanding is introduced is the same world that they rail against. You're a Nazi. Are you against being a Nazi? Yeah. Well, why are you acting like one then, mate? Eh? But, you know, tyranny...
I threw my fidget toy at you, Ike. Oh, you make my brain hurt. Okay. Bad things about Nazis. Racist assholes. Concentration camps. Wanting to kill people is somehow the same, right, as stopping Steven Crowder from harassing a reporter. Right? These two fucking things are the same to you, David Icke. Oh, son of a bitch. I can't take it, right? I just... I can't. These are not the same things, David. David, no. It's like encouraging violence and hatred towards minorities because they are different than you is not the same, nowhere near the same as saying, hey, maybe don't say homophobic shit, right? It's not the same as say, hey, can you use someone's appropriate pronouns? Hey, maybe don't misgender people. Hey, maybe don't go on a tirade on your video about, you know, and sorry if this offends anyone, about that lispy Mexican queer, right? These two things are not the fucking same. Concentration camps and her and oh God. Trying to stop people from abusing people is the same as abusing them. Apparently that's where we're at, right? Apparently that's where David Icke is at, is that if you try real hard to make sure that people get equal treatment, if you try real hard for that, then you are really no different than people who stick other people into concentration camps based on an arbitrary difference between people and then kill them. It's the same fucking thing, David Icke. Losing your Twitter account is the same. If you say that someone should lose their Twitter account, you might as well say gas the Jews. Right, David Icke? David Icke, oh, did Carlos Massas got fired from Vox? Oh, that's too bad. That's really too bad. Carlos, fucking Steven Crowder. To all the dipshits who think that YouTube is somehow like a liberal bastion, and thinks that there's like some war against Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder still has his fucking channel, right? Like, after going on tirades about the lispy queer Mexican, he still has his channel. Like, it's fucking bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Oh.
Tyrannies are tyrannies. You can call them Nazi, you can call them Stalinist, you can call them Marxist. But they're still tyrannies, and because they're tyrannies, they use the techniques of tyranny and the currency of control of tyranny, which is always based on censorship. And when I look at Ocasio-Cortez and what she represents...
Excuse me. Please, David Icke, I know you don't listen. Please tell me a policy proposal that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has made that is somehow similar to gassing the Jews.
When I see that Michael Moore calls for it to be vetoed, it just gives me more confirmation that she needs to be very carefully looked at, as does Michael Moore. But when you look at Marxism, first of all, Karl Marx was the banker's boy. You know, he wasn't some guy fighting for justice for the working class. He was the banker's guy.
We got to Marxism. Oh, gosh. Again, policy. Do you care about policy? No.
And think about it this way. The goal of the few, what people refer to these days as the 1%, is control. It's global control. It's centralized control. Why centralized control? Because it has to be. When you are a few and you want to control everyone else, you have to centralize decision-making. The more diversity of decision-making you have, the less power any central cabal is going to have. Now, there are two main ways that you can secure that power at the center. One is to accumulate the vast majority of the wealth, and through that own governments and own the means of control that way, which is the capitalist, as it's called, way of doing it. But there is another way of doing it with the same banking 1% class in control, and that is to sell a structure of society on the basis of government of the people. We represent the workers, we do.
You know what I never have seen pointed out, the whole Steven Crowder scenario? He keeps claiming to be a comedian, but why the fuck would a comedian wanted to debate a journalist? It's true. Marx was a single dude who wrote some theories once. Can I dismantle capitalism by proving that Locke was a dickhead? No. I was gonna go on one chat without mentioning being trans, but there's a whole bunch of people who won by assenting to transphobia. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
And you sell it as a people's revolution. And what you do is you create a structure of control where the whole society is a hierarchy of top-down control, as we saw in communist Russia and we see in communist China. And the few then sit at the center of that structure and control everything. Does anyone think that Stalin was running Russia, Soviet Union, for the working class of Russia? Does anyone think that the hierarchy in China are running China for the working class of China? I mean, do me a bloody favour. But it was sold as
I really want to know what your point is. I really like. I just like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is for the working person. Therefore, she's a communist. Is that your point, David? Is that it? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wants to, raise the minimum wage. She wants to, which by the way got passed by Congress. Way to go, Congress! You did a good thing. Woo! Sorry, it's gonna get shot down in the Senate, and the president's a dick. But you did a thing, and it's great that you did a thing. It really goes to show you, if nothing else, how much the American people are actually for a 15% raise, or $15 minimum wage. How much the American people are for that, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing to show those things, even if it's just going to get shot down in the Senate, and even if it didn't, I'm sure the president would veto it because he's a dickhead. Okay, so pretty much all of you're saying is because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is for the working class, therefore she's like communists. I just want to point out that even though even though Trump isn't actually doing this, he also promoted himself as being for the working class Joe. Right? That was his whole thing. Is I'm gonna work for you, working class people. It's people say that a lot. I think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is actually going to, and has shown on record that she's actually going to, do something about it. But it's not the first person. Even conservatives do this. Conservatives are all, like we just said earlier, the whole narrative is we're all for the working class, and yet, they do things to fuck over the working class on a constant basis. Nancy Pelosi votes for the minimum wage getting passed, even though she knows it won't go through to Senate, but she won't do the exact same thing for impeachment. Inconsistency, I hate her. Yes, I fucking Nancy Pelosi needs to just get the fuck out of the way. She is probably the biggest hurdle between like the change that everyone voted for in midterms and actually getting those changes enacted is Nancy Pelosi, because she's a fucking money puppet. I hate her. God, she's awful. I'm sure that Nancy Pelosi voted to get the minimum wage passed because, again, it's a very popular stance. It's a very popular talking point, and she can use that when she needs to. She can be like, hey, look, I voted for increasing the minimum wage. But she won't actually be consistent and vote for other things that are also incredibly popular, like impeachment, which is incredibly popular and should be done. And I am absolutely amazed that it hasn't been. But, that's where we're at.
revolution of the people. So how does Marxism work? Because Marxism is basically what this is all structured on. Well, of course, the classic expression of Marxism was struggle, the class struggle. And basically, what that's founded on is transforming society through conflict between groups. That way, conflict between classes, the bourgeoisie and the proletariat and whatever. What we're seeing now with Ocasio-Cortez, I'm not pointing at her, she's become the face, I'm talking about the mentality she represents, is the class struggle transforming, but the same structure, the same means, the same goals, into the self-identity struggle. Now, to do that, what you have to do is form groups of self-identity. What you absolutely must never do, or Marxism's going to just collapse, is you must never treat individuals as individuals.
I don't know what to say. Because at this point, you're just talking in such broad strokes that I can't. Like, you have yet to quote Alexandria Cortez saying or promoting any idea that you say that she's promoting. You have to give an example of anything. You were just talking in such broad, like, not even anecdotal, like way worse than anecdotal, just like, this thing. I don't know. Impeachment has 26%. Trump is going to get away with it, like Crowder, like Milo. It's true. Like it's true. Milo, to be fair, deplatforming Milo has been fantastic. I do love the fact that he's poor as hell. He's like several $1 million in debt, and he can't get like anyone to talk to him. If you haven't seen yet, do not, and I do not give McInnes any attention for this. but it's worth looking into. David Pakman and Sam Cedar did a piece about Gavin McInnes, because Gavin McInnes is now calling like liberal YouTube channels to like try to promote himself, and it's fucking pathetic and sad because no one wants to pay attention to Gavin McInnes. So yeah, like deplatforming has been has done a wonderful job at getting Milo out of the fucking spotlight, getting Gavin McInnes out of the fucking spotlight. It's been great. So I don't think Milo got away with it. Rationality Rules did get away with it, which is super sad. Also, I'm still, God, I know you'll want me to shut up about it, but I'm probably gonna make the video on Serious Skeptic because it has to be done. He's trying to sell weird shit. He was trying to sell his chair for like several $1,000s and no one bid on it. It was fantastic. Oh, I love it. No one wants your crappy shit, Milo. Go die in a ditch. Okay. All right, with that said,
irrespective of their color, religion, culture, income bracket. You must never treat anyone as an individual. You must never look at people by their individual behavior, because if you do, these groups that you want to play off against each other in the self-identity struggle of Marxism, modern Marxism, collapses. Because whether you are white, black, or orange with blue spots, I'm not going to judge you by the color of your skin, or your background, or your income bracket, or any of it. I'm going to look at your behavior. And if you're a...
But R&D, that's homophobic because he's gay. It's true, it is.
If you're a white man who's a psychopath, I'm going to call you out as a psychopath. And if you are a black man who's a psychopath, I'm going to call you out as a psychopath. And you, whatever you are, if you're a psychopath, I'm going to call you out as a psychopath. You're not a white psychopath and a black psychopath and a Hindu psychopath. You're a bloody psychopath.
Okay, intersectionality always gets this like jam of like, or this criticism of like you only pay attention to the color of your skin. No, it's about how the color of your skin or your whatever, you know, if you're a minority or whatever identity you have, how that affects your interactions with other people, and how like people aren't colorblind. Like people can say they're colorblind, right? Like people can say, oh, I don't look at the color of your skin, but it's not true. They do. They still do. People can say, you know, I won't judge you because you're black, but they still do, right? This is why people like Candace Owens and people like the Jordan Lee Peterson are so fucking popular among conservatives, right? Because as much as they hate identity politics, or at least they say they hate identity politics, right? The moment that it's advantageous to them, they'll use it. The moment that they can say, hey, here's a black dude and a black lady who agree with me, they'll fucking eat that shit up. Which is why, you know, Blair White, Milo Yiannopoulos, the like I said, Candace Owens, the other person, Jordan Lee Peterson, that's why they're so famous. It's not because they have big important ideas or anything like that, right? It's because they're minorities who agree with you, and you can use their identity as minorities to promote your own garbage. It's why they are famous. And for no other reason that they are famous, right? It's you've probably seen pictures of like, do I look like a racist as somebody like takes a picture with a black person? It's like, yeah, no, you probably still are. Taking pictures with an African American doesn't mean that you don't hold racist ideas, right? Like, you are more than willing to use identity politics when it fits you, or when it suits you, I should say. When it suits you, but when it doesn't, you're just gonna let it be. All right, that's the end of our video. We finished. The rest of this seems to be, and I'll play it just for, you know, completionist's sake. There you go. That's it. That was a thing. That was loud.
For more great videos on this one, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and ring that bell. Otherwise, you won't be getting the notifications. Okay.
This is Rhetoric&Discourse. We are...
Go away. Okay, yeah, we finished. There we go. All done with the video. And just the tiniest bit of beer left. Okay. We will not be watching another video. That's it. Yay, boobs. Okay, we'll get boobs. We do get boobs. We'll do that. Okay. I did see that message. Christy, talk to me before you do a thing on Sirius. I really will. If you can, Christy, I have you on DMs on Twitter, but if you can, or you are able to join the Discord, my Discord server, do that. because I'd like to have a chat with you if you have some insight on that, because I do really want to talk about Sirius. I really do. I don't think I can handle the video. No one can handle the video. So either way, I will reach out to you, Kristen, because I do want to make that video on Sirius, because I do think his video was garbage. Now I want to talk about it. Okay, so with that said, we do get boos because we are, in fact, a bunch of sexist assholes on this channel. So let's grab ourselves. What will we do? I guess we gotta roll a die. We gotta roll a die. Well, not roll a die. We have too many to roll a die. So we are going to go over here, and we'll ask Google to pick between the number 1 and the number 36, and that will be our how we end the show today. Pick a number between 1 and 36.
Here's a random number, 29.
29. All right. So, thank you, everyone. Bam. There we go. Thank you, everyone. Oh, we get butts. We don't get boosts this time. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today on this random Saturday morning show. I want to promise a video because I was going to work on a video today and tomorrow, but I'm moving. So moving's gonna take priority to this weekend, and I'm gonna get it there. So we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna try to. I'm gonna move. So that's gonna happen. I don't know if I will be able to get a video out this weekend besides the tour video, but I will try to at least keep working on my script for the next Eric Dubay video. I am working on it, especially now that like Simon Dan gave me a shout out. I feel like I have to. So we will. But thank you everyone for being here. Have your let's go to this one. Thank you everyone for being here. Have yourselves a good rest of your week, and I will see you all next time.